Hey everybody, welcome back to Flint Outdoors. This is going to be a little different type of video. As you can see, I'm not at the lake fishing today. I've been fishing for the last few days and lots of great videos to come. Did really well over the last few days at Hunting Run. Actually, hopefully that'll give you 3 or 4 different videos and some different species for sure to come. But what I wanted to do today was talk about boats. And I worked long and hard and thought long and hard about what kind of boat that I wanted to fish out of. I had a small plastic Pelican boat that I started fishing with a couple years ago, and I was going to buy a big bass boat at one point and back off of it because I like fishing the reservoirs. And the reservoirs here in Virginia is electric only. But I wanted the maneuverability of a big boat along with the ability to fish the reservoirs, and I wanted some storage options, and I wanted a deck in the front, and I wanted built-in battery chargers and things like that. So I thought long and hard about it. And actually during COVID last year, there was not a lot of boats to buy. I was looking through different options. And finally I decided to build my boat. And what I mean by that is I bought a shell, which is the boat that we're setting in, and I built the options onto the boat. And I wanted to talk to you about how I went through that process and my thoughts going into it. First and foremost, the things you got to think about with a boat is how you want to fish. Do you want to be on a deck or not? I definitely wanted to be on a deck. I definitely wanted to have a bow-mounted trolling motor, just like you do in a bass boat, with electronics up front. I also wanted thrust in the back, and I wanted a bigger motor in the back to push the boat. And I thought about all kinds of different electric motors. I even thought about the Elco electric motor, the Torpedo, e-propulsion. They all make really big motors, but they cost a lot of money. And money aside, I wanted to get the boat I wanted, and I wanted to invest correctly. But then again, I thought about how often am I going to get to use that big motor, and is it going to get me from A to B much faster? And I'll show you on the option that I settled for in just a moment. But overall, I wanted the fishability of a regular bass boat. I wanted the ability to walk around in my boat and have plenty of room. So I thought about the 1648 Grizzly Tracker. It has a front deck. There's some other companies out there that have a boat, but what I settled on was what I have here is the low 1660, and it's called the low 1660 roughneck. It's 16 foot long, and it's got a 60-inch wide beam at the bottom, and that actually equates to almost 8 feet wide at the back bench. It's 7 foot wide at the back bench. It's very wide, and I really like the wide area in the boat. It gives me a lot of options to walk around. I can carry things. It provides the easeability of going from front to back. One of the other things that I really like about this boat is the trailer that it came with, and I'll walk around the outside of the boat in just a second. But I wanted a trailer that was easy to load, and one of the lakes that I fish here, you'll see me fishing on mostly close to the house, is Able Lake. It doesn't have a really good boat ramp. Unlike like a Hunting Run, they got a really good boat ramp in the dock. Able Lake is just dirt, right? And it's not easy to get your boat in and out. It's shallow. So I wanted the easeability of being able to move the load and unload the boat. So I want to make sure I had a good trailer with it, which I do have a good Load King trailer on the boat. But some of the other things that I thought through was, how do I want to be able to charge my boat up quickly if I go out and fish. Just like I said, I fished Friday afternoon and all day yesterday. I was going to go fishing today. It's a gorgeous day, but just had to catch up on a video, and I wanted to cut this video. So I have 5 different batteries in this boat. There are 2 batteries under the deck, and they are 75 amp Optima Blue Top, 75 amp hours if I'm not mistaken, Optima Blue Top batteries. Then I have 3 27 series 100 amp hour batteries in the back for my 36 volt trolling motor, and I wanted to have all those plugged into 1 or 2. I've got 2 onboard battery chargers, which I'll show you that. So I wanted some ease of charging all the batteries. I've got my batteries charged up, and I'll show you that in just a second when I walk around the boat. Some other things that I wanted is I wanted electronics in the front, and I wanted electronics in the back. And you may ask why. Well, for 2 reasons. One, I like to be able to look down at my electronics when I'm fishing. And I wanted to have not only down view, but side view on my truck. So the two units that I have up here are the 93SV. That's the 93SV Plus. It's the older model of the Garmin 93SV. The one I have up front is the newer model with it's the Garmin Ultra High Definition with the new Ultra High Definition transducer. It is a very good transducer, and you can see there's a huge difference. They both work fine, but from the aspect of quality and the screen resolution, the Ultra High Definition is much better, and that's why I have it up front in my down scan and my side scan. And I do see fish on the side scan. I've learned to find and pick out fish, which I did yesterday when I was out on hunting run and caught them. So they do come in handy. I don't like to sit and stare. You haven't seen me staring at my my electronics that much, but now that the fishing has slowed down and we're into looking for fish in deeper water and not just on the bank, these come in handy. And I look back all the time at the back unit just to see what the back unit is reading versus the front unit. So I do a constant compare, but when I'm running the big motor, I can't see the front. Actually, the front's, you know, stowed, not in the water. So I wanted one in the back as well, so I can read and I can mark GPS coordinates on the back when I'm driving down the lake. I'll mark a hump, I'll mark a position or something like that, or a fish on that unit. They are not connected. They can be connected. I just hadn't taken the time to connect them, but probably will. Probably this winter, that'll be one of the upgrades that I make, where we can I can at least put waypoints on one and transfer them to the other. So that's kind of my thought process on the boat. I didn't really think about, there's some things that I didn't consider that I may have considered differently that you'll see here in my boat. I do have some built-in storage for my built-in rod locker here, and it's got it holds 3 rods. I keep my my spinning rods in these, but I don't have a rod locker for my bait casters. But what I've done is I've set my bait casters up on my tackle box and have the rod straps to keep them held down when we're driving down the road. Works out real good. Hadn't had an issue with that yet, but they are out in the elements. They're not in a rod box. It's not a big deal to me. Again, it's not been an issue. I keep reel covers on it. I lost a reel cover the other day. Yeah, just one. I think I just dropped it in the water, but it's not a big issue. It's not, I've not had any issue traveling down the road with these rods like this. So I really am not going to do anything about it. The other thing is I don't have a lot of storage. I'll show you my storage compartment for tackle. But what I did is I'll show you this. I have a large Plano storage box with all my Plano tackle boxes in it. You know, the 3700 and the 3600 boxes are all in this big box. Works out real well. I can carry a ton of tackle in it. And I'll open that up in just a second and show you. But those are some of the things that I didn't really think through completely. Some other options that I could have thought about, you know, some more built-in storage or a rod locker, but this works out great. The functionality is great for me, and I'm pretty pleased with it. So one thing that I did have to add, and I will tell you, I learned the hard way. And I learned the hard way because I almost fell out of the boat. Actually, I did partially fall out of the boat, and I'll just admit that up front. I didn't catch it on video. It was a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, actually the last 2 hours I've been trying to save this video because I had a great fishing day, caught a big 4-pound bass and a big snakehead out on Able Lake, but it was raining like crazy, downpouring. The video, my GoPro, I guess, got water in it, and it kept speeding up the film and stopping, and my sound went out. It was just, I couldn't salvage the video. But one thing I learned, my microphones, my wireless microphones are not completely waterproof, so they got ruined. And also the GoPro is not, when it's in the casing or it's the extended, I don't have it here with me, it's not completely waterproof either. So learned some lessons there, but anyway, the biggest lesson was this deck. And you can see here from my other videos that you've seen, this, I didn't have this gray tape on here, and this is the, the anti-slip tape that's down 8 inches wide. I put that all over the deck and here on the bottom because I slipped here, hit this, and fell one leg out of the boat. And it was raining. When this deck gets wet, it is very slick, And not only that, I almost slipped and fell out of the boat, I almost slipped and fell into the deck another time in that rain. So safety wise, I needed to put this anti-skid stuff down. It works really, really good, because I was fishing in the rain on Friday and I didn't have nothing to worry about, didn't slide at all. But what I like to do now is just kind of walk from the outside in and show you all the things that all the components of the boat real quick. So like I said, this is a low 1660. You can see there, low 1660 roughneck boat. It is 16 foot long, very wide. Plenty of room. So you know, from the inside, you know, got lots of room inside. You usually don't get to see this part of the boat because the camera is facing forward, but you can see all the deck space I have there. And some of the things that I've done to enhance the boat itself, and to make sure that, you know, I had some easeability about, one of the things that I was really concerned about was, like I said, charging the batteries. So back here in the back, I have the 36 volt trolling motor. I went with the Riptide 36 volt, 112 pounds of thrust. I get a good solid 5 to 5+ miles per hour with me, just me in the boat and with all the batteries. And here in the back, you can see I have all the batteries, three 12 volt batteries, and I have the one battery has my one Garmin system plugged into it. So those batteries are to basically just the thrust for this motor here. One thing I will tell you that I added that made a huge difference is this prop. I took the standard prop off that came with the Minn Kota, and what I did is I went to the Kippawa prop. Made a huge difference, not only in speed but vibration and sound. So $35 for that prop. It made a huge difference in the speed in the boat, and also cut down on vibration and sound for sure. So the other thing I have back here is a little side compartment I put in, and I don't know if you can see down in here, but I have my Minn Kota onboard battery charger. Digital, you can see I've got it plugged in right now. Those green lights mean the batteries are charged. I can unplug it, but I've got that built in, you know, a little side compartment if I ever need to get into it. Works out real well. I really like having that onboard battery charger. And then also back here is I did put in a storage box into the bench. Now the one thing that I will tell you that is a challenge with this, hey, it works good. These lids are really good. You can buy them on eBay. I can't remember the name of the company, but they work really, really good. You can stand on these. They get kind of dirty. I live in the woods, so it's hard to keep things clean with all the stuff falling out in the trees. But they are watertight. I don't get any water in here. So I cut this bench seat out. And the challenge, though, when you do that, is if you can see down here, this is foam. This is filled with foam. And it takes a while to get all the foam out and get it out in a reasonable manner. It's tough, so you have to be careful when you have to consider the foam when you go to cut these out. So I left the foam on the back side. Is the other side of the bench has the foam in it, but I only cut out in the area that I have storage. And I keep, you know, here's my snacks, my water, you know, my rain gear, you know, things of that nature, the accessories for my GoPro, things of that nature. It's good dry storage. Don't have any issues with water getting in here at all. Right back here is my Garmin 93SV. This is the Plus model, right? So this is down here, and the transducer is out on the back, over on the back. And this is the one that I'm always looking at when I'm on the trolling motor. So for the battery charger, you can see right here, I have one plug-in. It's called a Naco battery charger, or battery plug-in. And what I did is I drilled right into the bench seat, and it's a plug-in that I plugged in the battery charger in, It's got a, you know, weather seal here on it. All I have to do, the batteries are charged now, I'll just pull this out and I'm good to go. I go fishing. So all three of the batteries in the back are now, you know, charged in. When I come in, all I do to charge my batteries is pull that up, plug it in, and my batteries are getting charged. So works out real well. I got one there, as well as I have one here in the front, and that one is for the battery charger that's underneath the deck here, and I'll show you that in a second. While I'm here, here's my 3 spinning rods that are built into the deck. This came with the boat. Rod holders came with the boat. Works out really well. I like to put my spinning rods on here because it's awkward to hang them down like I need to with my bait caster reels. So I'm going to climb back in the boat here, and you can see in the boat here I have my tackle box, I have my rods, and they are, you know, I have one rod holder right here, you know, one rod holder right here that holds my rods. They're just rubber, you know, I just unhook them real quick, real easy. I got one at the top, it'll hold them still, holds the rods down going down the road, no problem. So one of the things I really enjoy though, I'll go ahead and unhook these, and I'll just move these out of the way just real quick, is my tackle box. Now I'll just show you real quick how this tackle box works out for me. So I keep a bungee around it where it doesn't slide back and forth, which works out real well. Keep my net in here, and all I have to do to open this is just open the 4 latches in the front and the back, or you know, on all sides, and voila, I have all my tackle. And I have all my tackle in my 3600 37 series tackle trays. Keep everything in there. It is very easy to get in and out. You know, usually I don't have my net. You know, once I go fishing, I unhook the net here and it's out of the way. The paddle is over there. Always keep a paddle in the boat. So yeah, I've got all my plastics, all my hard baits, everything I need. I got right in this one giant tackle box, and it was very, very convenient. And I don't have to pull things in and out of my boat. As a matter of fact, I'll go buy some tackle and I'll just come out here and throw it into the tackle box here. So, all right, so I just put the rods back onto the tackle box there. Works out real easy. You can see it's pretty simple to do with the rod straps and everything. So really enjoy having that set up that way, and the tackle box really works out well. And the bungee straps come in handy for the holding my net and things of that nature. So one of the things I also did was put a battery charger underneath the deck, and I also put this deck lid in here, this white deck lid, and I'll scroll down here where you can see it. So underneath here I have plenty of storage. You can see I have my life jackets in here, and then I have my onboard battery charger here, and then there's my 2 batteries. They're strapped down. I did put a piece of marine gray plywood to put all this on, but also it worked, you know, it helps with water and things of that nature, because a little bit of water is going to get in your boat, and it makes sure nothing gets touched by water. Also, you know, I have everything wired under here, professionally done. You can see my batteries are charged. But this works out real well. I keep my life jackets, I got my battery charger here, and I also have the Naco plug-in, just like on the back side. Another thing that I added right here, and I use this primarily for my YouTube videos, is I got USB chargers for plugging in my GoPros. So this works out real well, and I have my GoPros plugged in. This one had a short in it the other day, so I had to have my GoPro a little bit shorter, closer to the front versus further back, because this had some water, and I got it fixed in the connector. So moving up on deck, I'll close this here. Again, here's that skid-proof tape that I put down. Came in real handy. You guys see me all the time on this, you know, this seat. I don't set in it a lot. You'll see me setting in it more when I'm doing primarily just, you know, jig fishing, or, you know, fishing soft plastic or something, especially if I'm fishing deep. But when I'm fishing and the fishing is active, I like to stand up, but I always keep my phone. You might always see me on the videos kind of looking down, and what I'm doing is I'm looking down at my phone, which is always sitting here, and I have a preview to make sure I'm not cutting my head off or anything like that. So, you know, past the seat here is my trolling motor, and what I have is the Minn Kota Tarova trolling motor with one of the key things that I really like is spot lock. I can actually just, when I'm running this trolling motor, I can just hit this button right here, and the trolling motor will keep me in the spot that I am currently at right now. Works out really, really well. I enjoy having spot lock. It's something I did not know that I would really enjoy until you have it, right? You don't know what you're missing until it's gone, or you've never had it. And now it's something that I don't think I could live without. I love having spot lock. Also, right next to here, I did add another USB connector for charging my phone or my GoPro, whatever I need to, and that's connected everything down to the batteries below. Here's the Garmin 93 SV, or not, the 93 ultra high definition. I really love that unit. It works out real well, and all these are on ram mounts where I can swivel them back and move them as I need to. And you know, I can do anything I need, move it any way. Gives me some flexibility. Actually, in yesterday's video, when I was out fishing, you'll see I tried to show you guys what a bait ball looked like on the camera. Considering getting another camera set up for something like that, because it's too far back, I think. But also, one of the things that you have to think about when you have this unit mounted to your trolling motor is you have to have the transducer on the bottom. So you can see I have my transducer right here on the bottom. It's the 256, I think it is, ultra high definition transducer. Phenomenal transducer. But what I also have here is I have an attachment here and here with this cord attached, this rubber protective cord, to keep the transducer cable from wrapping around the actual shaft and at the top. Because when you do put it in spot lock, the motor will spin sometimes 2 or 3 times. And there's been many videos where people put their spot lock on and it spun and broke the transducer connection. The cable actually broke, which is, the transducer is pretty expensive. It's like $400 or $500. So what this does is gives it a slack without having like a floppy cable out there, to allow that not to catch up and break. And it works out really, really good. I think I got it at cornfieldcrappie.com is who makes it. It's highly recommended, and I would recommend it as well. Works out really well. And I love this trolling motor. It is a 24 volt, by the way. So I got 24 volt down here and 36 volt in the back. And this trolling motor works out real well. I like the digital pedal. There's a lot of people that don't like the digital pedal, but I've got used to it, and it works out real well. So that's kind of the breakdown of my boat. Most of the components here. There's my, everybody, someone said in the comments earlier, I'll answer a question right now. What are you measuring on when you measure fish on the boat? Well, I have a ruler. Right here you can see I set the fish on that ruler, and that's where I'm measuring the bass. When I say, well, let's measure this bass real quick, and I put it on the deck, I got this ruler on the deck right here. So that's where I'm measuring against. Someone else asked me, what do I use and where do I put my camera in my, and they sent me a direct message. I have a clip that clips basically here, you know, on a stand that I have in my hand facing forward. When I don't have that USB port, I put it here, which makes the video a little bit closer to me. Someone did also mention that the bass look a little bit smaller. Well, it's because of the distance. I'm not holding the bass right in front of the camera. And you know, everybody, you know, there's ways to hold fish and move fish. The primary reason I like to set the fish down and measure them is I give you an accurate measurement, and to give you an idea of how long or how big the fish, and that's why I weigh some from time to time. And you know, one of the other things is usually I'm not very far off on my weights. I've been catching bass for 40 years, probably a little bit more than 40 years, but I got a pretty good idea of how much a bass weighs when I pick it up. Usually the only ones I'm really off on are those really big bass. So that's why I like to use the measuring tape to get a measurement. So here's a look from the inside. Like I said, got plenty of room. Really enjoy this this boat setup, and I hope maybe I gave you some ideas about if you want to build a boat and build an all-electric reservoir rig. That's what I consider this. It really works out well for me, and I am happy to answer any questions. I'll answer any questions that you have, or any comments, or any recommendations I can provide for you. If you're going to build out a boat, shoot it over to me. It took me 2 solid days. I got this boat like the end of February. My best friend from Florida came up, Gary Damaris, and we put it in my garage over the weekend. And over the weekend it took 2 solid days to install all the hatches and put all the electronics into the boat the way we wanted it, and get it ready for fishing. So it's not something that's easy to do and can be done in an afternoon. Don't get me wrong, it takes some effort. It was really probably a solid 20 to 24 hours of 2 people working, doing all this to get this boat ready to put on the water. So something to keep in mind if you thinking about tackling a project this big. So again, if you like the Shane Flint Outdoors channel, please subscribe, share, and like. There's more videos to come, and until we talk again, tight lines and good luck fishing.